Hi y'all, Keri Stephens here. You know, how does it make you feel when somebody turns to you and puts you on the spot? Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about that by giving you a real question. You ready? Okay, you're sitting at the family dinner table and a relative looks at you very intensely and says, "Where do you want to be in 5 years?" So I'm going to pause for just a second and let you kind of jot down the emotions you feel when somebody puts you on the spot like that. So some of you may like those unexpected questions. You kind of thrive on the adrenaline rush. But most of us are going to feel pretty anxious and unsure. So how do you handle that adrenaline rush and all those emotions? Well, I have some tips for you. First of all, you prepare. I would even say you over-prepare. And you contingency plan. So let me give you an example with my own personal story. You know, a lot of people will say, "Keri, you're so quick on your feet," but I'll tell you, I'm not really. I'm actually a lot more introverted than I am extroverted, and I hate being caught unprepared. That's when my anxiety comes out. So what do? Well, I contingency plan. And the way that I think about that is I use if-then statements. And let me tell you an example. So if this happens, I'm going to say this. And I plan all of that. So the second thing that I do is research. Look in there and see who will be asking your questions. Have they written about certain things before? What kind of things have they asked other people about? And that research really helps you because together, these build confidence. Now, remember that today, people don't expect you to be perfect. Isn't that wonderful? They actually look for authenticity. So let's spend a minute talking about the difference between a memorized presentation and an extemporaneous presentation. You know, the only people who can deliver memorized presentations are actors or people who are regularly on camera. I actually believe that even your memorized presentations need to sound spontaneous and authentic. You've all seen those memorized dialogues that are just dreadful. Well, we don't want to go there. Now, for responses to questions, I highly recommend that you not memorize responses. You do your research, you prepare, but then what you do is you think through in bullet points. How am I going to respond to this question? You know, every talk that I give is extemporaneous, but that does not mean that I haven't planned it really, really well. That's what I have to do to overcome my own anxiety. Now, when you're put on the spot with absolutely no notice, it has to be extemporaneous. You know, in the moment, you're going to need to do several things. The first thing I want you to do is to breathe. Give yourself time to gather your thoughts because you do not want to just instantly reply. Now, if you don't know the answer, be honest and tell them what exactly you're going to do to get them the correct answer. So let me end with a couple of other techniques that I've seen a lot of people use to be successful when they're put on the spot. The first thing is positive self-talk. Now, this may sound like something that doesn't really have an impact. It has a huge impact. You know, watch major athletes. Watch what they do to prepare. They are engaging in this positive self-talk, this imagining themselves being successful, doing whatever activity that they are doing. Well, we want to do the same thing when we're put on the spot. We want to remember all the preparation that we've done. You know, actually, this is not unlike taking a test and the strategies that you have developed to get yourself calm and to get yourself ready. You also want to develop listening skills. So I'll tell you, I have really had to work on my own listening skills. And the way that I make myself listen, this is going to sound horrible, but works pretty well. I have fairly long fingernails. And so I will literally kind of bare one of my fingernails into my finger and sit there and go, listen, Keri, listen, and breathe. It's the only way that I can really focus on what the other person is telling me and not let my mind go all over the place and get all anxious and trying to respond. You might come up with some kind of physical, tangible way to remind yourself, I need to listen to that question. Another thing I encourage is become comfortable with the idea of silence. You know, especially when you're on a video conference or a phone, there's sometimes these awkward pauses. Well, it's really nice because that'll give you a chance to take a deep breath and to really kind of think through your response. So my biggest tips to help people look like they can think on their feet, and that's really the key, all you have to do is look like you're doing it, is to really prepare, contingency plan, build your own confidence, listen, and finally, breathe. Thank you so much.